You ever feel just plain weary? Maybe you're too busy at work. Maybe it's family commitments. Maybe it's church. Just plain weary. I'm guessing that we've all got our own pockets of weariness that we deal with. And whatever yours is today, I want to remind you that you're not alone. I've been reminded just these past couple weeks of the weary of early motherhood. Our daughter recently had our first grandbaby, and I've been down with the family helping pull some of the night shifts. And oh my goodness, it is not an old person's game to be doing this. And I am realizing how weary I become when my sleep is interrupted like this. And it's just taken me back to how tired and overwhelmed I was when I was a young mom. We have those kind of wearies. Sometimes we have wearies from situations at work, situations at church. Sometimes we're overcommitted. I know for myself, another thing, I tend to think that I can do 15 times more than I can. I chronically overestimate my capacity, which throws me into a weariness cycle. This is a study. Strength Renewed is a study that I wrote primarily to myself several years ago during a very, very wearying season. And today I want us to take a look together at a couple of verses from Galatians 6 to get us started and to kind of help us frame the study going forward. As we look at Galatians 6, 9, and 10, I'm just going to go through and mark some of the words that we looked at in our lesson, and we'll just talk through this a little bit. As we mark, please know that nothing magical about marking. It's just something that slows us down. I think it helps us typically to see repeated words a little more easily, comparisons, contrasts, patterns in the text. So you can pick your colors, pick your symbols, whatever you want. Again, there's no really right or wrong way to do this. It's a process. It's a good tool to have to slow yourself down as you're going through. So Paul writes, "Let us not lose heart in doing good, for in due time we will reap if we do not grow weary. So then, while we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, and especially to those who are of the household of the faith." He is concerned here about encouraging the Galatians, his readers, to keep on keeping on. And when he talks about doing good to all people, I think it's always important for us to remember that the doing good is not something that we do in order to make our way to God. As we're doing good because of who we are now in Christ. Just think of Ephesians 2, 8, and 9, where Paul writes, "For by grace you have been saved through faith." Grace is unmerited favor. "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no one may boast." It goes on in Ephesians 2:10 to say, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God has prepared in advance that we should walk in them." So when we think about the doing good, it's not to make our way to God, but it's because we're in relationship with God and he has prepared things in advance for us to do. And Paul here is encouraging the Galatians to not lose heart in that, to keep on keeping on. So he tells them, he's basically telling them, do the good to all people, especially to those in the household of faith. But as you do it, he says, let us not lose heart in it. And he reminds them that we will reap if we do not grow weary. So we've got the positive do good, and then kind of the negative, hey, but don't lose heart or grow weary in it. The other thing we marked was references to time. We have in due time and while we have opportunity, both time references. Going to get to that in just a second. But the other thing I want to just draw your attention to here are these other words that a couple of Greek words that this is something that doesn't come through in the English, but it's just kind of an interesting thing that it's a wordplay that's going on in the Greek. The word that's translated lose heart, in the Greek it's enkakeo, and the root word here is kakos, which is bad. And the word for good is kalos. So there's this contrast, there's this play on words here between bad and good. And so this word for not losing heart, the core of that word, that it's the root word is bad. So it's like, in doing good, don't, in a sense, do bad and lose heart. Don't give up. Don't stop doing good. And how is it that we keep on keeping on when there is this temptation, in this external pressure sometimes, and sometimes internal pressure, to grow weary and lose heart? Well, Paul directs the Galatians towards hope in the future. And we see here, he says that in due time, we will reap. There is hope for the future. In the word here, both due time and then opportunity, both of those, the Greek word there is kairos. Okay? And in Greek, there are a couple of words for time. One is kairos. The other is going to be more familiar to your ears and to mine, and it's chronos. So you think of chronology. That's where we get that from the Greek chronos, which is kind of has to do with more of the linear time. Kairos is opportune time, critical time, important time. And Paul is saying here, let's not lose heart. Let's orient to the truth that in the future, in due time, we will reap. There's hope. Everything that we're doing here, it is not worthless. It is not unseen. We will reap. And so if that's the case, then that future orientation then affects our present. If in due time we will reap, that gives us more, energizes us more in the future, in the here and now. That while we have opportunity in the here and now to act and do good to all people. And again, especially to those who are the household of faith. Now, orient to the future so you don't lose heart and grow weary. Check the box, right? No, this is not something that's just automatic or simple or easy. And I think it's interesting here that Paul uses a phrase twice. He has this let us. I don't think I had you mark this, but this phrase "let us" is it's a grammatical construction called an oratory subjunctive. Now, don't let me lose you on this, okay? If you're somebody who does a lot of Bible studies, you may sometimes look at the Greek grammar behind things, and you may be looking at something like this: "Let us do good to all people," and you might think, well, the mood of that should be imperative. That sounds like a command. Or even the idea to don't lose heart. That kind of sounds like a command. But what we have here, again, it's something called an oratory subjunctive. And it is essentially a command or a strong exhortation that is not just directed to the readers, but also includes the writer. So Paul is not saying, hey, you weak Galatians, don't you lose heart and grow weary. He's saying, no. He's saying, let us. He's including himself in this. It's as though he's preaching this to himself too. Let us not lose heart. Let us do good to all people. He is preaching to himself. And friends, if you're feeling in a place today where you're like, man, I am feeling like I am losing heart, I am growing weary, and I'm ready to just throw in the towel. I've just had it. Hear Paul's words to you today. Paul's words to himself, Paul's words to the Galatians, Paul's words to you and me. Let us not lose heart in doing good. For in due time we will reap if we do not grow weary. Because of that, he says, so then, while we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, and especially to those who are the household of faith. My friends, gritting our teeth and just trying harder and trying harder. Well, we'll see in the lesson from next week as we look at Moses. Trying harder and trying harder often just wears you out. Paul says, remember that in due time we will reap. There is hope. What you are doing is unto the Lord, is seen, and it is for him. Don't lose heart. Don't become weary. He's the one who will renew our strength. And we'll see more about how that happens as we continue on in his word. But for today, be encouraged. He sees you and he loves you.